Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at itertools in Python. So itertools is a submodule that allows you to do different things with different iterators. And the first thing that it has are infinite iterators, and these are iterators that go on forever. So we need to import all of these different iterators so we can just import them from itertools. So the first one is this count iterator, and what I'm doing is 10 times I'm seeing the next thing, because if we were to just have a for loop, it would go on forever. And you can see it starts at 10 and it just keeps counting. Next, however, we can use count with this step, and you can see this time it does the same thing, but there's a step of 2. So this is a bit like a range, but with no end. We can also use this cycle iterator, which will keep cycling through our iterable. And you can see it goes A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, and that would keep going on forever. Then there's the repeat, which unsurprisingly just repeats the same thing. However, we can actually make this one finite by adding a number here. And you see if we do this 3 times, so 3, it prints 10, but then after that we get a stop iteration exception. So this one, even though it can be infinite, can also be finite. Of course, they also have some finite iterators, ones that don't go on forever, and so for these ones we can print them as a list. So you see we have this accumulate object, and then it tells you the accumulation of everything at each point, which is very useful. We can also chain things together. So you see it's taken these 2 iterables and put them together. And not only can we chain from 2 items or more, we can chain from this list. And you see this gives us the same thing. And if you notice in both examples, it's created this chain object, because chain is an object, and here we're just initializing one from an iterable. We can also do this compress, and what that does is it deletes all the things where there are zeros. So you can see it's taken out the B because there's a 0 here, and the D because there's a 0 here. And so instead we've got AC and F. We've also got these 2 drop while and take whiles. And so what the drop while does is it keeps looking forwards until it does fit the condition. And you can see that happens when it's 6. So for all of these they're less than 5, but 6 is not less than 5, so it stops this dropping. And take while does the opposite. So you can see it keeps taking it until it gets to 6, which is less than 5, and then it stops. We can also do this filter false. So what this is going to do is it loops along range 10, so that's 0 to 9, and the function is x mod 2. So 0 mod 2 is 0, which is equivalent to false, so it takes that one. 1 mod 2 is equivalent to 1, which is true, and so it's not false, so it doesn't take that one. And then 2 is equivalent to 0, which is equivalent to false, and so it takes that one, and so on through all of your objects. And then finally, there's this sum up, which calls power with these as arguments. So you can see this is a lot like a map object, except that it does it for each of these tuples. And you can see that it's calculated all of these to all of these powers. The last thing that the itertools module has is a set of combinatorics iterators, and these allow you to get certain combinatorics features. So the first one is a product, and so what we're doing is we're taking each of these and in essence multiplying them together. It's looping through each of these values, going through them in this order and matching them up. So you can see every single ordered tuple of 3 of these letters, because we've set repeat equal to 3, is displayed, and that means there are 4 cubed different possibilities. We can also look at the permutations, and Permutations, we're saying that we want pairs of 2, so it takes every pair of 2. However, there are some things to notice. The first thing is they can go forward, so AB, and backwards, BA. They're different permutations. However, this one doesn't have any duplicates. And likewise, we can do the same thing with combinations. And you can see this time there are half as many because we're not choosing the ones that go backwards. So when we get to B, there's no BA because that's the same as AB. And this means that because each of them we can have them forwards or backwards, there are 2 ways. However, when we use the combinations with replacement, you can see that it repeats some of them. So AA is repeated because it's 2 A's, and BB is the same. However, we don't have them forwards and backwards because they would be the same combination. So you can see that itertools has some really useful features in Python, mostly for iterating, but also for some combinatoric stuff, which is very nice. And of course, it does all of this efficiently. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. You know how to use itertools very well, and I'll see you again same time next week. Till then.